Across America's heartland, the quiet fields of corn and soybeans are now echoing with alarm. Farmers already battle drought, unpredictable weather, and heavy debt. But the sudden surge of tariffs in 2025 has turned a hard life into a near impossible one. Crop prices are falling faster than families can adjust. Equipment costs are climbing month after month, and export markets are vanishing at a pace no one imagined even a few years ago. It's a situation that feels more like a slow-motion disaster than an economic strategy, one that keeps farmers awake at night, wondering what tomorrow will bring for their land, their families, and the communities that depend on them. Will the family farm, an enduring symbol of American resilience, survive this storm, or is an entire way of life being pushed to the edge of extinction? Before we dig into the full story and explore how global trade policies ripple through small towns and family-owned land, don't forget to subscribe to the African Web and hit the notification bell so you never miss the latest on worldwide economic shifts and their impact on everyday people. The first shockwave hits soybean farmers, the backbone of U.S. agricultural exports. China, once the biggest buyer of American soybeans, walked away and turned to Brazil, leaving U.S. harvests unsold and prices crashing in a matter of weeks. A single year of lost Chinese demand is enough to erase billions of dollars in revenue. But the ripple spreads far beyond soybeans and into every corner of the farm economy. Farm equipment companies like John Deere face steep steel and aluminum tariffs, adding hundreds of millions to their production costs and forcing them to warn of layoffs and profit losses that could reshape the industry. Those extra costs land squarely on farmers who already struggle to replace tractors, repair parts, or even fuel their machines for spring planting, making every maintenance decision a painful calculation. Fertilizer prices are climbing, fuel is more expensive, and grain prices keep sinking, squeezing profits to the breaking point and leaving almost no margin for reinvestment or growth. The results are devastating. Farm bankruptcies under Chapter 12 have jumped nearly 95% in just the first quarter of 2025. Behind each statistic is a family forced to sell land that has been in their name for generations, their legacy swallowed by large corporate agribusinesses eager to buy distressed properties. Each auction represents decades of work and sacrifice, disappearing in a single afternoon as neighbors watch with heavy hearts, knowing that their own farms could be next. Hidden beneath the trade drama is a quiet lifeline: potash, the mineral fertilizer essential for healthy crops and high yields. Nearly 90% of the potash that nourishes U.S. fields comes from Canada, much of it mined in the rich deposits of Saskatchewan and transported across the border in a tightly managed supply chain. Farmers cannot simply switch suppliers or skip applications. Without potash, yields of corn, soybeans, and wheat can drop anywhere from 5 to 30%. And in soybeans, the damage can be even worse, threatening entire harvests. Imagine the shock if Canada decided to halt shipments, even temporarily, during peak planting season. A mere 10% reduction in supply could strip billions of dollars from farm revenue in a single season, triggering shortages that drive up food prices nationwide and causing panic in markets already under stress. This dependence gives Canada a powerful hand in negotiations, a constant reminder that the U.S. is not immune to the leverage of its neighbors and that essential resources are never fully secure. For farmers, it's another layer of uncertainty that no insurance policy or government check can erase, and it hangs over every decision from seed purchases to harvest planning, deepening the sense of vulnerability across America's farm belt. While American farmers face mounting losses, Canada has chosen a different path and is sending a clear signal that it will not let rural communities bear the brunt alone. Ottawa introduced a sweeping $5 billion trade resilience package to help its farmers weather global turbulence. The plan offers direct financial support, generous incentives for biofuel production, retraining programs for tens of thousands of workers, and expanded loan limits so farmers can access capital when they need it most. Canadian policymakers are actively helping their agricultural sector adapt to a changing world, turning crisis into an opportunity for innovation and diversification, rather than leaving producers to fend for themselves. By contrast, the United States has relied on short-term aid, like crop insurance and disaster assistance, measures that may cover a bad harvest, but do nothing to rebuild lost export markets, counteract rising equipment costs, or stabilize long-term pricing. This stark difference in strategy shows how two neighboring nations can experience the same global turmoil, but produce very different outcomes for their farmers. And it raises a pressing question. Why is one government cushioning the blow, while the other seems to add to the pressure, leaving small farms to shoulder risks far beyond their control? The tension doesn't stop at grain and fertilizer. Canada's dairy industry, protected by a long-standing supply management system, has become a flashpoint in trade talks and a source of growing frustration for U.S. producers. This system caps foreign dairy imports at around 3.5% of the market and slaps massive tariffs, sometimes over 200%, on anything beyond that limit, ensuring that Canadian farmers can plan production and stabilize prices year after year without fearing market collapse. U.S. dairy producers see it as a barrier to growth, while Canadians view it as a shield that keeps family farms alive in provinces from Quebec to British Columbia. Canada's Parliament even passed legislation to prevent future trade deals from dismantling the system, signaling a rare political unity across regions and parties that is almost unheard of in modern politics. This unwavering stance highlights a key difference. Canada is ready to defend its farmers with law and policy, while American farmers are left exposed to a global trade fight they did not start and cannot control. The contrast is striking. One country turns inward to protect a vital sector and shows a united front, while the other gambles on leverage that has yet to produce tangible results for the people working the land. Across the American Midwest, barns are quieter and futures more uncertain with every passing season. Tariffs have driven costs up, shut markets down, and pushed proud family farms toward collapse, leaving once thriving communities to wonder how many neighbors will still be farming next year. Grain elevators stand half full, equipment sits idle for lack of affordable repairs, and young farmers face a future where the numbers simply don't add up no matter how hard they work. Communities built on agriculture now face rising food prices, fewer jobs, and the loss of generations-old livelihoods that once defined rural life and kept small towns vibrant. The lesson is clear. Without stable trade policies and strong international partnerships, no amount of emergency funding can keep an agricultural economy thriving or prevent the slow erosion of the family farm. What do you think? Should the U.S. change its trade strategy before more farms disappear? Or is this turmoil an unavoidable step toward economic independence? Share your thoughts in the comments, and remember to like, share, and subscribe to the African Web for more in-depth analysis of the forces shaping our world today.